Dream Warriors, thank you for joining me. Big episode today. One of my all-time favorite Christmas movies, How the Grinch Stole Christmas. So many people hate this movie, but I'm going to talk to you about it, and we're going to discuss what this movie means to the greatest holiday in human history. Let's rock and roll, let's hit that music, and let's get to it. It's amazing the time that we live in, that something like Christmas is controversial, because when I was growing up, it was just the biggest thing in the world. And I grew up in a mixed neighborhood of high and low incomes. I'm talking you can walk 20 minutes down the street from my neighborhood, Ariel, New Jersey, and you could hit a place called Brittany Woods, and you would get just decimation. Brittany Woods was actually like very early featured in like the Urban Dictionary because it was called The Woods, and like it was somewhat like known, like it was known outside of New Jersey, but it was like even known as like Little Camden, because Brittany Woods was almost like this extension of Camden, New Jersey, and it's not that close to it. Like it's a little bit away. You would have to take the 42 expressway for about 20 minutes, and then you would hit Brittany Woods. But for whatever reason, probably because of drugs, Brittany Woods got on the map. And then if you went like the other way, 20 other minutes, okay, you would get these newer developments, and it was like the next income bracket up. And this was roughly Sicklerville, Ariel, and like Blackwood, New Jersey. So Christmas just all around at that time was fantastic. I remember in my like early 20s, like when I was kind of like in and out of living at home, but I was working a lot, I was freelancing a lot. I was mostly using my parents' place as a art studio to freelance out of. So like I was working full time, and so I was in the zone of just kind of just having a lot of extra money. And with that, even my girlfriend at the time, we did a good amount of like traveling and bouncing around, and just just probably doing things for the gram before doing things for the gram was actually something. At that point, at that phase, you did things for MySpace. But and I would just have these like Christmas parties, and I was like getting into adulthood at that point, and everyone got like a present. My friends that I knew kind of grew up a certain way, I would make sure that there was good things under the tree for them. And Christmas has always been embedded in me, as this is not only the season and the time of giving, but it is a reminder of who we have around us and why, and those who aren't. And luckily, some of these people we can still reach out to. We can still reach them through a text message, reach them through Facebook, sometimes even LinkedIn. But you can get in contact with these people, and you may not think that they're thinking of you, but most likely they are. And the reason for that is because we all leave impressions in people, and even sometimes when it's weird and negative, it's still there, and there's something to be repaired. And we have to be mindful of that stuff. Now this doesn't mean like all things get forgiven instantly, because there is a time and a trial. And it's good to go into that process. It's good for you. And we as people, I'll say Americans because it's somewhat cultural based, but we as Americans, we like to avoid stress, and we depend on people to invent things to take away the stress. Like even entertainment, even Dream Warriors is it's a stress relief for a lot of people, but we're still avoiding what we should not be doing in life. And don't let the holidays get you off the hook, because the holidays are a great reason. It's a great way. It's a great avenue to reach out and to know and to feel those people again. But with that being said, welcome to Dream Warriors Podcast, the most lit solo. I'm doing solo show today. The most lit entertainment podcast, pop culture podcast. I am Peter A. DeLuca, and you can find me all over social media. I am talking Twitter and Facebook. Okay, I'm talking Snapchat. Okay, if you want to know the handles, just ask me. Instagram and Facebook, it's AKAPAD13. Twitter, Snapchat, it's just AKAPAD. There's even a website. Did you know that? AKAPAD.com. There's a YouTube channel. Just search AKAPAD. You'll find me doing all kinds of stuff. So what am I doing here? Dream Warriors is long-form conversation on movies and all these things that we love. These things we're obsessed with. And we talk about things and we sit on them and we talk about them again and we argue about them and we love them and we hate them. But it's a documentation on where we are with absorbing some of this content, where the content's going, and what it means to us. And that is that's the definition of Dream Warriors, and I am your host. I'm Peter. Hey, I've been in this game for a while. We've been podcasting for a few years already. I have a background in IT. I have a background in comic book illustration, logo design, web design. I've ran an art studio in Center City, Philadelphia for nearly 7 years. So we're leading to how you can support the show. If you're listening on SoundCloud, there's a link. Help fund the show. That goes to a Patreon. And the Patreon, right there. you can donate. You can help. You can hook us up. And if you're into purchasing creative services, you can head over to Etsy/shop/AKAPAD, and yeah, you can buy a logo design package. You can buy a web design package. You can buy something and start to grow your business and reach your dreams. And a lot of times too, when you purchase those packages, you get me on like email retainer, text message retainer. If we have time, a couple phone calls. There's always like an introduction phone call, but you can reach out to me and we can collaborate. And I feel like there's a lot of value. I feel like it really doesn't cost that much compared to the value. I feel like I do spoil my clients. Even though I just had to fire one. If you listen to the previous episode, I had to fire one of my clients on Saturday. Sunday. It was Sunday. And yeah, it was I felt it was so bad. But like I said, the client got like a little bit too demanding, a little bit too hostile. And I just said, look, let's just like cut ties, because you don't understand enough of what like needs to get done. And it's not my job to tell you how to like do your business and prioritize and like this and that. And this is after the client disappeared for about like 2 months on me. So whatever. That's always sad. But hey, I am going to make some coffee. Because I need some coffee. It's early in the morning. And we're going to get into how the Grinch Stole Christmas. So I'll be right back. We're back. Thank you so much for letting me do that, everyone. I had to get some, I just made some quick iced coffee with the absolutely delicious Delights Reese's Pieces Buttercup Creamer. I talk about this all the time. This is one of my favorites. If Delights wants to sponsor me, please do, because I talk about your product a lot. But yeah, so How the Grinch Stole Christmas, 2000. Okay, that's the year this movie came out. This jump started what I thought was going to be a full run, like a complete blitz by Universal on the entire Doctor Who catalog, because this movie was maybe, I would say, like potentially the last movie that really was hype for Jim Carrey. So the movie stars Jim Carrey. It's directed by Ron Howard. We have music by James Horner. It's produced by Imagine Entertainment and Brian Grazer. Brian Grazer, who's going to go down as one of the all-time producers, if he's not already. And this movie's just stacking. And I think Bo Welsh may have done the production design. And who maybe I'm forgetting who did the costume, but yeah. So it's kind of like reflecting on this movie. It is a little bit sad because uh like Ron Howard just had like an epic disaster with Solo. Like, and I still I'm surprised he took on that movie, because he hasn't had something that popped in a really long stretch. And I mean like really popped. Okay, I'm not saying he hasn't had some of these like smaller little like blips, but I just mean like movie wise, blockbuster wise, and Solo was like his return to that. And I always like to see Ron Howard do well because I love like The Paper. I love Far and Away. I love Parenthood. Like he's so accomplished. He's so well rounded. Apollo 13, like potentially next to The Right Stuff, is the best astronaut movie we will ever get. I haven't seen The First Man yet with Ryan Gosling, but Ron Howard has made the second best astronaut movie we will ever get, and that's only because of ordering. The Right Stuff came out first, based on the wonderful Thomas Wolfe novel, and Apollo 13 is just like boom. And look, both of those movies are masterful and stacked. But yeah, sometimes you just gotta go in order of release when it comes to greatness. This is the case with Apollo 13. So this movie is it's a complete imaginative, not pun intended there, imaginative triumph. Okay, this is like all cylinders of the Hollywood machine, of the Hollywood movie machine. They are firing, and we're now out of the 90s, and the 90s style blockbuster is starting to die and to fade. And the Grinch was I would have to kind of go through, but I would maybe potentially say the How the Grinch Stole Christmas is potentially the last, like it's the Alamo of the 90s style blockbuster movie, that goes back to Armageddon and Face Off and Waterworld and Demolition Man, Last Action Hero, like these movies that had complete product lines, like the blitz, the media blitz, the pop culture blitz. And the Grinch had so much hype. The original like poster for this movie was it was all black. The Dr. Seuss style How the Grinch Stole Christmas. It might have been ripped right from the book that originally published in 1957, I believe, or 1956. Yeah, it goes back. And it was just the hairy hand, like holding up, like a broken, like Christmas ornament, broken red round Christmas ornament, like glossy and shiny. And then it was like a huge mystery to reveal what this thing looked like, and there was an anticipation. And look, the style of teaser poster went back, it goes back to the 89 Batman, to Hook, where Hook just had Dustin Hoffman's Captain Hook's Hook, like completely like magically lit. And this style of teaser poster too is gone. So this movie is a complete relic on 4 accounts. The relevancy of Ron Howard, the relevancy of Jim Carrey, Hollywood blockbusters, and marketing. Okay, and it's crystallized. It's in the case, and it's encapsulated, and we can visit it at any time. If you have Netflix, you can check out I guess we would have to call it the original How the Grinch Stole Christmas, outside of the cartoon that was also directed by the fantastic, the legendary Chuck Jones. And so the Chuck Jones like made for TV animated adaptation of How the Grinch Stole Christmas kind of started this trend of like superstars working on this property. And this movie, I already said, is stacked, but so is the new one. So this year we had a we had the re-release. We've had now Dr. Seuss's The Grinch, and it's an animated feature. It's killing it at the box office, by the way, but it's narrated by Pharrell. This one's narrated by Anthony Hopkins, and the original, I would have to double check, is Boris Karloff. Okay, it might have been one of his last media like outings ever. Like I don't think he was alive for much longer after that. And this one we have Benedict Cumberbatch, Rashida Jones. Like if you could go right through, Danny Elfman doing the music, still released by Universal, and then for this one, again, it's just awesome. So what makes this movie what it is in my eyes, and why do people hate this movie? People love trashing this movie. The other, like, quick side note, this movie led into a live action Cat in the Hat starring Michael Myers, which is completely bizarre and fantastic. And Michael Myers in that cat suit, just being Michael Myers, is, oh my god, it's so good. And at this point, I was so disappointed that there wasn't a Lorax or like a Horton Hears a Who or just one of the off-center. Like, dude, they could have done Fox and Socks. Okay, I just felt like they should have kept going with this big actor in the suit being crazy, like far out visuals, and that could have been a series. That could have been Universal's like next monster like sub franchise. Like Universal always had them, just somewhat built on the monster movies. In the 2000s, they could have rebuilt themselves with Dr. Seuss adaptations, but that didn't happen. I'm still disappointed, but it seems like the animated ones are really catching steam, catching fire. We're now in an age of I think they're all great, okay, but very well made, well thought out, and completely fun Dr. Seuss adaptations. I never really thought we would like hit that. To me, Dr. Seuss always was books and cartoons, and the cartoons were like close to the books, just because you can draw, like visually you can match it, and then like we're moving on. But the idea of adding motion and flight and a color spectrum to the Dr. Seuss pages, which a lot of times are completely colorless. There's only a limited color used in the original children's books, and adding like rounded color to that, like building a universe around some of these books. Hey, it's cool. It's cool. I'll say it again. I love that the Lorax. The Lorax might have been the last animated movie I saw in the theater. Okay, and that was a long. I didn't even have time to even look that one up. But yeah, so this movie, like somewhat resonated. It got trashed. People hated it, and like, which I love. I love when people hate movies, and then you have that all your cinephile friends will trash it. They'll say that was horrible, this and that, and then you put that movie down like 5 years later, like with a girl, like with a babe, and they're excited to watch it because look. It's not as most of the women in my life are younger. Okay. With that being said, it's a kind of like a movie that they grew up watching, like as a kid, and they have such a like love and nostalgia, and you see through their eyes. You see through like a grown up who hasn't seen it in a bit, that remembers it as a child, that re-explores it, and some of the lines and some of the dialogue and some of the visuals that they remember is so fun. It's so exact, and it brings you into like something to where you're like, oh my god, maybe that is funnier, maybe that is more lighthearted than I remember, and it brings you back, and then you see through their eyes, and the movie just gets reprogrammed in your mind. And this is why How the Grinch Stole Christmas, starring the great Jim Carrey, because I'm not really sure what's happening now. I don't care about his Showtime show because it's not him. He's just, yeah. He's just acting. Whatever. He's not being a comedian in that Showtime show. I don't need to watch it. He's not. It doesn't even have a premise that I'm into, and I believe it's called Kidding and whatever. I do believe it got renewed for season 2, but yeah. So this movie just brings in the set design, okay? It brings in the coloring. It brings in the cinematography, the costumes, the look, the acting, okay? There is nothing that's not completely over the top. I'm sorry, Rick Baker. That's the name I was trying to think of for the costume. I'm pretty sure Rick Baker, again, 100 Academy Award nominations. Rick Baker is the guy behind the look, and he's the one that designed the Grinch baby in this. And this movie falls on all of these problems too, like the flashback, the origin. This is the obsessive nature of franchise storytelling, or drilling deeper into things, and not having faith in letting the story take its own path. When it doesn't involve a backstory or an origin. Hey, we were just talking about Solo. Solo's somewhat guilty of that. Even though I am on the outskirts, I do feel like Solo brought Ron Howard completely back to form. And Solo should have at least made double the money it made in the domestic box office. Should have made double. But it lost. It lost, I think, about $300 million. But this movie puts me in awe because there's so much talent around it. Jim Carrey supposedly suffered throughout the shoot of this movie, being in the suit and under those lights. He suffered, okay? And, maybe it worked, maybe it added to the performance, but he's so funny in this. He's so great. There's so many good lines. Like, are you bored? Like, I'm not, like, we can all run around doing the Grinch voice. Like, I'm not eating because I'm bored. I say that all the time. And look, even Max being like a straight up dog in this movie, it's just fantastic. But look, I can tell you the plot. If you don't know the plot of the Grinch by now, like, or how the Grinch Stole Christmas, I'm sorry. It's not, I can't do anything for you. But explore this movie. It's available on Netflix. It's probably like maybe on HBO too or something. But I don't mind. Watch all three. Watch the original read the book. Watch the original cartoon directed by Chuck Jones. Watch this movie, and then go out to the theater with some friends and family, maybe on a date, and watch The Grinch. And just enjoy it, okay? Have fun with it. And, don't be cynical. Do not be cynical. Just go in and enjoy it. And if you don't like it, it's okay. You don't like it. But, don't think it's you could have done better because you're sitting in the seat. So you probably couldn't. Not saying you can't identify problems, but you probably could not have done better. And that's one of the long threads of Dream Warriors is, hey, we want to talk about the good things, and we want to analyze why things are not good. But hey, if you have any issues, just tweet me at AKAPAD. And until next time, until tomorrow, the next episode, we're going to have WWE's TLC, tables, ladders, and chairs. I'm completely amped because it's one of my, like, if we were to stack, okay, you have WrestleMania for favorite WWE pay-per-views, then it's Royal Rumble, then it's TLC, and then it's Money in the Bank. Okay, so, and that's such a good gimmicky 4 block there because the gimmicks for each, except like WrestleMania just being WrestleMania, and Night of Champions probably coming in at 5. I love the gimmicks for like all 5 of those. They're very direct, they're very clear. Survivor Series always confused the living crap out of me. It's hard to get excited over like just elimination matches. But look, I love you all. Thank you for joining me. Happy holidays. Rock and roll.
Ho, 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 ho.